Okay, so imagine this. You walk into a museum, you're looking at this amazing exhibition, and you find out the whole thing was put together not by a team of historians and designers, but by a single AI. Well, today, we're talking about MuseVerse, a totally new system that can do exactly that, build an entire museum exhibit from scratch, all by itself.
So, have you ever really thought about what it takes to create a museum exhibit? I mean, it sounds simple enough, right? Pick a cool topic, find some artifacts, write a few paragraphs. But, the reality is way, way more complicated. And that complexity, it creates some pretty massive barriers.
For starters, let's just talk about money. A professionally curated exhibition, it can cost up to $500,000. I mean, think about that number. That alone completely knocks smaller museums or schools right out of the game. It's a total non-starter for so many.
And it's not just about the cash, it's also about time. From that first little idea to the day the doors finally open, we're talking about 1.5 years. Yeah, 18 whole months of planning, research, and building for just one single exhibit.
So when you put that kind of money and time together, you start to see what we can call the price of curation. But believe it or not, those two things, they're really just the beginning of the story. Right, because it's also about who you can get to do the work. You need this very specific team of historians, writers, and designers, and that creates a huge expertise gap. It's why smaller places often have the same exhibits for years, and why a lot of displays, honestly, aren't built with crucial accessibility features. They end up limiting who can even enjoy them.
And this whole set of problems is exactly what MuseVerse is designed to fix. But don't think of it as just one piece of software. It's much more like an entire autonomous AI curation team, basically on call and ready to go.
So the tech behind this is called a multi-agent system. And really, the best way to wrap your head around it is to just picture a digital project team. Instead of having one general AI trying to juggle everything, you have a whole crew of specialized AIs. Each one has a very specific job, and they all work together to build the final thing.
The full system actually has 14 of these agents, but here's a look at some of the key players. You've got the researcher who's out there on the web digging up all the information. Then there's the storyteller who weaves it all into a narrative that actually makes sense. You have an exhibition designer planning the virtual rooms, and even an accessibility expert making sure the whole thing is inclusive for everybody. It's a whole team.
Okay, so you have this digital dream team all set up. How does it actually work? How do you go from just an idea to a full-blown museum exhibit? Well, the process is actually surprisingly simple. It all kicks off with one simple text prompt. You just give it a topic, something like ancient Egyptian astronomy. And that's it. The entire 14-agent team just springs into action and builds everything else from there. So here's the basic workflow. First, you've got multiple researcher agents all digging into the topic at the same time, gathering info and checking facts. Then the creation phase starts. Other agents take that research and start building out the exhibits, designing the rooms, writing the stories. And finally, and this part is so important, the system has its own quality control. An evaluator agent actually reviews all the work and can send it back for revisions. It's this constant feedback loop until everything is up to standard.
All right, so that whole process brings us to the results. And this is where things get, well, kind of mind-blowing. What does all this efficiency look like when you put it right next to the old traditional way of doing things?
Okay, look at this. On one side, you have the traditional method, up to 18 months and $500,000. And on the other side, you have MuseVerse, 60 to 120 seconds for about 10 cents. Not hours, not days, seconds. It's just wild. Just let that sink in for a second. A 99.9% reduction in both time and money. This isn't just a small step forward, it's a completely different way of thinking about things, a total game changer. It's almost hard to believe. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, it's fast, it's cheap, but is it any good? Well, this isn't just spitting out a simple text file. Every single exhibition it creates comes fully loaded. We're talking themed rooms, detailed exhibits, a historical timeline, interactive quizzes, accessibility features, the whole shebang. It's all ready to go.
And the numbers really back this up. If you look at the quality metrics, the AI agents get their individual jobs done right 97% of the time. And the final exhibitions, they get an overall quality score of 85%. So this thing isn't just fast, it's consistently good. So what does all this tech and all this speed actually mean for us in the real world? Well, it means we have the potential to make culture something that anyone can create, not just consume, to make it for everyone.
I mean, just think about who this helps.
Small-town museums that could never afford to change their exhibits. Teachers who can now create a custom interactive lesson plan in just a few minutes. Students who get instant access to amazing learning tools. It's for anyone who wants to share a story or explore a piece of our history.
And this isn't just some far-off idea. We're already seeing the impact. The feedback from early testers, like this quote here from an educator, just shows you the immediate, practical use. It's not just cool tech. It's a tool that's already solving real problems for people. And that really brings us to the big final question. For centuries, the power to decide which stories get told has been in the hands of a pretty small group of people. But if a tool like MuseVerse makes it possible for anyone, anywhere, to build a museum, what new stories are we going to see? What forgotten histories will finally get their moment? Now, that is a future worth thinking about.
MuseVerse, an AI-powered museum curator designed to transform any topic into a comprehensive, immersive exhibition. To begin, we enter a topic in the sidebar. For this demonstration, we are inputting Stranger Things web series to see how the AI handles pop culture and sci-fi elements. Generate exhibition. The system now initiates the curation process. While the UI shows a loading state, the backend is hard at work. During the code flash, you can see here the multi-agent system springing into action. These AI agents are simultaneously researching the topic, gathering visual references, structuring the narrative, and organizing the data into a logical flow. It's analyzing the request to ensure high factual accuracy and thematic depth. And just like that, the curation is complete. We are greeted by the System Statistics dashboard. Here we see the AI's self-assessment. This dashboard gives the user immediate confidence in the generated content. Scrolling down, we encounter the 3D exhibition flow. This interactive graph visualizes the spatial relationship between the different concepts. Now, let's look at the content itself. The AI has generated a custom exhibition poster and a detailed curator's note, setting the stage by introducing the show's blend of sci-fi and 80s nostalgia. Below, we find the exhibition rooms. Room 1 is titled Echoes from the Upside Down. It provides a description of the alternate dimension and includes relevant visual assets. Room 2 takes us to Palace Arcade and beyond, capturing the 1980s setting. Room 3 delves into Project McUltra, covering the darker, government conspiracy elements of the lore. The system has successfully segmented the show's vast lore into digestible, thematic areas. Moving to the Knowledge Graph tab, we see the visual representation of connections. Next, we click on Semantic Analysis. This is where MuseVerse shines. It doesn't just list facts, it analyzes themes. Interactive elements, quiz and challenges. Question 1 asks for the name of the alternate dimension. We select the Upside Down. Correct. Question 2 asks about Eleven's favorite food. We select Egos. Correct. Question 3 asks about the massive sentient creature. We select the Mind Flayer. It acts as a fun gamification layer. Below that, we have exploration challenges like Timeline Detective and Connection Finder, which encourage users to look closer at the exhibits. There are also open-ended discussion questions where users can type their thoughts on the show's visual appearance or specific themes. Accessibility features. Inclusivity is key. The Accessibility tab outlines how the exhibition supports various needs. Multimedia experience. The Multimedia tab organizes the audio-visual tour. Finally, we have the AI Docent, a conversational interface for specific inquiries. The user asks a specific lore question in the upside down, which here that freezed. The AI processes this query. Despite the grammar in the prompt, it understands the context perfectly. It responds accurately, explaining that the upside down is frozen on November 6, 1983, the day Will Byers went missing. It explains the significance of this date as a snapshot of the past. This concludes the demo of MuseVerse, a powerful tool for creating educational, immersive, and interactive AI-curated experiences.